Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Barndo. 1 second, I'll just take a nice swig of me coffee. Beautiful, we got a storm going on. I've got coffee, I've got Clash, that'll do. That's me second Christmas tree. Come on Supercell, be nice, go and give me one right there next to me old Christmas tree. Tonight I'm going to be going over a good war win. It was war win 166 versus a Chinese clan. I can't pronounce their name, it's Chinese symbol. Which actually used to be one of my character names before I renamed it to clan mascot. So you see 55 to 45, we had the 92.45% destruction. It was what started off to be a really weird war. I personally had a bad night last night with my attacks and did some really bad ones. But for these guys, they just didn't have the Town Hall 10 capacity. What was interesting and why it was a bit weird was they had a big 96% on Dave, who's trialling a new base pre of his... he hasn't got his new defences yet. So he hasn't got his new defences, but yeah, doesn't have the Eagle artillery. So that was easily their best Town Hall. It was an 11 that did that. And they did get the 53 on me off the first attack, so it's good to have a bit of a look around and mix your base up and watch that defence. For us, we had some really big hits on their Town Hall 10s and even 11s. I'm going to replay that. That's Dion's 83 on their number 1. We had a 73 on their number 3. Where are we? Another 73 there on their number 4, a 3-star on their number 5, and then we had another 3-star on their number 7, which was a pretty low. I will show it. I won't show the replay, but I will show the base. So as you see, he's got the level 3 Infernos, but he's still got a lot of Town Hall 8 and 9 defences. So, like I said, I had a bad night last night, and I didn't actually hit this a 3-star this with my Barndo 81B. I ended up using Barndo 80 to finish it off. So yeah, really that should be, you know, a 3-star straight up with a Town Hall 10 that's got pretty decent heroes, but unfortunately, yes. So I do have people, when joining the clan, they sort of say to me, it's quite imposing joining into a clan that's competitive and likes to have a good go. But if you have a look, even their clan mascot did a 33% hit versus their number 1. So everyone fucks up attacks, everyone makes mistakes, but you find a good clan gets over it, gets on with the job, and finishes off strong. So, you know, today Dave was mucking around at the end there, but today we had Shine, Phoenix, 81B, and Barndo 80, you know, finish off with the big hits, and that's what builds a clan. We're only doing 20 versus 20 at the moment with holidays and everyone sort of bits and pieces of where they are. But that's what builds a good clan. It's guys that are prepared to do what's required at the time. So we'll start off with some replays, and let's show Dion's big hit on number 1. What was impressive with this was it's a fairly common styled base. I have seen this, not this particular base of course, but I have seen this sort of style before. You see the 2 exposed air defence up the top, 2 down the bottom. With clan mascot, I did try and walk it and get the queen to get both air defences, but didn't get it. She ended up going in the middle and I wasted king and I really fucked it up. So really what I probably should have done was just walk the queen down that right hand flank, and she would have, you could have entered it in there, and then she might have even killed that Eagle artillery. But instead I chose to go for the air defences. They're quite exposed, so the dragons would have got there really quick. It was a poor decision in the end, and it got me a 33% no loot raid. But for Dion, he's gone with a 4 golem GoWiWi, drawn the clan castle out, and then taken it up top. The only thing I sort of said to Dion, which he sort of agreed with it at the end, was he used a 3-point entry. So he's used 4 wall breakers, 1 barbarian there. So that's 9 unit spaces. That could have been jigged around to be 2 hogs, or 2 loons, or a couple of barbarians and a couple extra wizards. It could have been, you know, it's only 9 spaces, but in a fair play attack, when you're doing these, you've got to try to utilise every single space. So what Dion's done with it at the start here, another point worth mentioning is you've got to be careful when you walk a hound to the corner. If you use barbarians, of course, the barbarians don't stop and shoot the hound, so the barbarian will keep walking to its first point, and it takes quite a few shots for the old hound to give it a death warrant. So he's used the minions, which is a good tactic. The poison drop probably a touch early, but it still worked well. Got the loon out of the way and gets most of these minion pups. So very little cost there. He hasn't killed his queen. He hasn't stuffed up. You see that golem on the left-hand flank there? That walks to the closest defence, so it doesn't really do a whole lot. That king over on the right-hand side there gave him a fair bit of grief. So he gets that giant bomb, but this is what I liked about this attack here was, where are we? Bang, come on, there we go, pops his warden's ability. 3.5 seconds, got the rage up, didn't double up with the freeze at the same time, so he's timed that perfectly, and then there's no giant bombs in the middle. So the queen and warden is walking off to the right. They've got witches as well as witches in the middle, so they spread up nicely, and you just see this king ripping it up through the midfield, and that's, you know, had all those support from the Wizzies and all of that, and then the queen's doing her job on the side. So this is where, if he had have had 2 hogs, you just sort of go, what could you have done? And I think it would have been a 3, but nonetheless he's come up with a high percentage 2-star, which is always good, and it's one of those things you sort of you lock it in for later. With my personal raids, I do try and take a tail of a few hogs, because it can be the difference when you get something stuck behind a wall, like his golem over here. We'll speed that up. And that Tesla's going to make mincemeat of that queen. You see those 5 skellies getting summoned at once, they do start to have an effect and have a higher tanking capacity. And excellent raid, Dion. Alright, next one I'm going to replay is my attack on number 5. Fairly well planned out attack. I had to make up for some of my shit attacks last night, so near max base, just a pretty bad design. So what I've done, you see 3 air defence on that side and 1 air defence on that side, so just walk the side with the defences. I've gone in with 5 queens, that'd be nice. Gone in with the 5 healers, the 3 golems all up, 1 in the clan castle there, and done a pretty fun attack. So what you'll see at the start, look at that hog there, covered by no defences. He gets down that mortar and then draws the clan castle, and it's just a good start because that'll split up the golems to then force them to the centre. Earthquake in the middle, I've talked about this a fair bit. Look at the amount you can do the math. I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 hit points damage with 1 spell slot. So you draw that hand to the side. So I'll put a wizard down as well. Now that's to make sure that loon gets dropped off. You can't have that with all the pups coming up and possible defences and all those kinds of things. You do see they did fix the AI of pups not getting hit. You see the queen turns around, shoots a building, then turns back around. So while I've done that, I make sure I heard that camp, and that's to make sure she pats around the right way. That air defence doesn't get to kill a healer. Now you see there's a very specific reason why I've done these 2 sets of wall breakers here. So I've had to make an entry into that side, and that'll mean your queen will push in, and then you make an exit so she keeps pushing around the side and flanking the side. If you don't, what's going to happen is your likely chance is your queen's going to shoot that wall and then enter in the inside. And I didn't really want that to happen. I wanted her to go around the outside. I wanted her to take these defences and stay away from those 2 expos. I definitely didn't want to take those at the same time. Hopefully the thunder in the background there is not too bad. Another decision which I wasn't entirely sure on was, you see that rage go down, pretty awesome timing, but should I have used the Queen's ability instead and save that rage for midfield? You know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Either way, it worked out pretty well. You see now as well, I knew there was a giant bomb where those golems dropped in, so they've opened up that bomb. No wizards, no witches have died to that. I've used the rage early. I want the golems to get inside as quick as possible. Queen's still pew-pewing around the bottom. She's going well. Now that was a bit of a mistake. I aimed just that touch too high with that freeze, and I've missed both those infernos. I've just hit the one, and I have, of course, gotten the expo at the same time. So again, I'll go for a freeze, and you see it is a touch late, and again I still only hit the one inferno. You can double tap those, so it was obviously zoomed out a touch too much. Queen enters in now. King's just about to die, but I've still got two golems in midfield there, so what will happen is that warden will end up assisting that the two golems, which is just awesome. So you see I've still got those three hogs, still got the wizard I'm using now, and once I know I've got some tanks, get that cannon down and it's all over. That was it. Good, nice, good fun attack. Made up for me 33%. Happy days. Now, the next attack I want to show was Phoenix's attack versus their number 10. I think this was their second or third Town Hall 9. He's gone in with a shattered GoHog. Interesting base. Not really that well, as you can see. With one hog, he's tripped a giant bomb there. He had a giant bomb over there. He did try and trip. He missed it. And he sort of had them one on each spot. So those sorts of traps, you've got to watch your replays and see these things and go, oh shit, yeah, let's trip that bastard and get that out of the way. He's only using one poison on the CC at the moment. I'm not sure why. He didn't end up using the second poison, so for me personally, I like to use both poison and kill that dragon, so it's not going to factor into anything. You already wait the time for the poison to finish, so just missed with the wall breakers due to splash and bits and pieces going on. But both heroes killed very quickly. You see, unfortunately, because those wall breakers missed, the Queen's now walked around, and that's going to cause her to go and do her own thing. Not a terrible thing, but he has to pop the ability pretty early, and he ends up protecting that later, you'll see, with the hogs. So there those hogs. He's entry pointed them on the left-hand side. I'm not sure if that was his initial intention, but he's done that to save his Queen. 3 heals. He'll start one now. Bit of an overlap. The Skelly's in the middle, but if the Skelly's target onto a golem, which is obviously your ideal aim, second heal now to protect from that giant bomb that's going to pop. So that's good. Yeah, if skeletons lock onto a golem, when the golem dies, it shatters and kills the skeletons anyway. So holding that poison is always a very interesting option. I personally, like I said, I'll use them both. Just kill that dragon, get rid of it. So the Queen's still going around, she's pew-pewing away, lots of damage, 5 or 6 hogs left there, last defence goes down, and that's it. Great raid, Phoenix. Lost me mojo on Barndo 82 personally. Had 2 high 90%ers, but it's just time on both. Right, the next one I want to show is Z4 Do. Oh, I might just start calling him Z. He's got Z4 and Z5. He's gone in with a Shattered GoHog, and he's going to use 4 Earthquakes and then avoid splitting up his other spells. So he's going to take 2 heals and a jump. Not the world's best attack, but a good solid option. And, oops, I'll keep that at normal speed. So it started with his earthquakes, and we did talk about where to put those. I probably would have gone just slightly lower, and then that would have opened up that bottom section next to that king as well. So you want to make sure when you're using earthquakes, you're opening up at least 60-70% of the base. Also, he's taken in the 4 wall breakers and a jump. So I don't really think they needed those wall breakers. What you've got to look at later is it left these defences shooting his wizards, and the main reason I'm critiquing this so much is I know Z4 is fairly new to clan, but he is actually watching these videos. So the first and foremost thing I'll do these YouTube replays for is to help my clan mates out, any new guys. So what I probably would have done was go a golem on each side of that and then jumped in the middle. So the reason being is that then would have put you inside the middle, and it would have covered all bases, and also avoided those 4 wall breakers. When you start bringing in extra wall breakers and relying on them, it's more risk. And you see there one died, it didn't get him inside, so he's had to use the jump early. So for me, I would have just factored that jump in initially and adjusted for it. But a good start nonetheless. King goes walking. The queen was the most important thing to get in the middle, because she's going to have to kill that dragon, which she did nicely. Then they'll chop up that king. Beauty, he's down. Thing is now his golem is quite frail-eyed and dies. So now you see all those wizards that are left over are just going to die to those point defences. King's raged, and now he's starting his hogs. I'll just pause there. What he should have done, in my opinion, is started hogs on this side a touch earlier whilst those golems are tanking. The reason being then all those wizards would have lived, and the king is a minor player in the scheme of a raid. It would have left all of those wizards alive, and he would have been rolling into that. But I mean, he's walked away with 3 stars, so expecting another double giant bomb next to that crossbow, that X-bow. But seeing as the queen's there, she's killed that. That was a big one. Don't know if you can hear the thunder. I'll run across those. Yeah, there we go. There's a bit of bacon. There you going. We'll speed that up now. That's it. So, overall, good result. It wasn't max defences, but these are the kinds of raids that are going to get you 3 stars against max bases. Well done, Z. Last raid I want to show, a little bit longer video for once, but just nice to show a few pointers. This is a raid by Menace, and this was the first attack versus this base. So this is quite a common base. I've shown it before. It's nice to show it again. Normally what you'll find is there's two double giant bombs, two giant bombs there, and 1 giant bomb over the side. So what you normally try and do is you try and poke and prod that side down there, get the CC at the same time, and pick up any bombs you can. So he's used, I think that was 5 hogs, opened up a skelly, which is nice, but not opened up the giant bombs. So you see a bit of a pause. Is he going to waste any more hogs or not? No, he's just decided to go with it. So he's got a golem and his king. He's going to use those to enter in on the right hand side there. Sometimes you can use a clan castle P.E.K.K.A for this style raid on this particular base. Alright, you see the first wall breakers die there. That's where the risk, you've got to really be aware of your mortar and your splash. And that'll then cause his king to wander off. So the golem's almost dead anyway. So king's going to go off. But the golem does just enough to trip that giant bomb. There was only 1 giant bomb there. And he starts his hogs. So what you see is a very particular pathing. He knows the right hand side's clear of giant bombs, and he makes sure he doesn't get the hogs running too far on the left hand side of that cannon, because then what will happen is they'll only trip 1. He's healed that perfectly and continued on. So the king's now going around. We'll speed it up a bit. probably a little bit far for those hogs there, but he did lose a lot of spring traps. But the thing is, because he's got a good plan, he spread that well, saved a few hogs for the end there, he's walked away with the 3 stars. So I mean, Town Hall 8's still used in a lot of war clans. We use them, you know, we've got, I think there was 5 in this war, and we'll take any that sort of join in that can look like they can do some raids similar to this. There's the last bomb. Righto, so good raid. Menace, I think he had a 6-star war as well. Yeah, so as always, hope I've helped, and clash on.